welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If it looks like I cried all my makeup off, it's probably because I watched tonight's Survivor episode, and don't worry, it was like those good, heartfelt, heartwarming, adorable style tears where you're just like, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. It's giving me so many feelings, and then you cry. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up tonight's Survivor episode if you ask me. It's called The Full Circle, and probably because it was a full circle of all sorts of love, and I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. I first want to say hi to Matt, who was the first comment to the broadcast. Hey, Love Squirts. Hey, everyone coming in. Thank you, Tidewell. Thank you, Michael, for sharing this out. No spoilers, I'm on season 2. All right, well, you should leave because there's going to be lots of spoilers because this is season 40, the 20th year anniversary of Survivor, Winners at War, episode 10, The Full Circle, days 24 and 25. There's 15 days left in this season, and they walk out to do a challenge, and dun dun dun, dun it is the I just saw that comment. It is the loved ones day, the loved ones challenge, and this time you don't just get one loved one, which is what you usually see on the seasons. Each contestant gets one person to come out and give them some love, and instead it was their whole families, their immediate families, right? So husbands, wives, and children, all. So some of them have 3 or 4 kids. They're just surrounded by their kids. There's so much love. The reactions were so visceral, so deep, and so real and raw, and just it was just so nice. It was really, really awesome. Richard Hatch did win season 1, but we don't know who won this season just yet. That was funny, though. So it was super emotional. It was actually Tyson's first loved ones visit in the 4 times that he's played Survivor. So that was really awesome because he was on Edge of Extinction not too long ago, so it's nice that he's back here. Although, spoiler alert coming in. Hey, Kyle, I am doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. You were the first comment on YouTube. So Jeff tells them, all right, so the adults and the teenagers are going to swim out to the deepest part of the ocean, and then the kids are going to stay back here to dig in the sand. And, you know, some of the kids look petrified, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? That's crazy. Like, what's going to happen? And then he's like, no, I'm just kidding. For the first time in Survivor history, there is no loved ones challenge. All of the loved ones are going back to camp with you. And it was just like this big freaking party. They had a big feast. It was like a cookout barbecue. They have burgers and food, and everyone's hanging out. All the kids are playing with each other. And, you know, they showed a little clip of Sarah saying, like, yeah, maybe my kids are playing with the enemy, but it doesn't matter because it's just, we're all enjoying this. We're all happy for each other that we all get to experience this. And it was like Survivor's way of saying thank you for all the crap they've had to endure in being on the show, and also for, although they've all won $1 million from the show as well. I think that's probably thank you enough. But it was also, I think, Fiji Airways, was it, that had flown all of the families out. So then they cut over to Edge of Extinction, and these people are miserable. Like, they're just miserable out there. There's nothing to do. There's no challenge. Occasionally there's like a fire token challenge. There's no food. There's no rewards to win. I mean, there's just nothing going on, you know, there's nothing to do. And then there's a boat pulling up, and you're like, oh my god, is this their loved ones? What the heck is this? And sure enough, they brought all the families of all the people on Edge of Extinction out as well. So you got to see all their family, all their kids. It was so awesome. And it was like everything they had been suffering and all this pain and agony they were in just melted away in seeing their families. And Natalie's little baby niece, I think it was her niece. And what I thought was interesting is I felt like we didn't get to see Rob and Amber's kids very much. Did anybody notice that? Like, I think they have 4 kids, but I only saw maybe 1 or 2, and they were just kind of like, as an aside, you got to see Parvati's little tiny baby. Oh my god, it's just so much cuteness overload. You got to see these manly men just break down at the sight of their wives and children, like, you know, Ben and Tony. Tyson, I don't know if he's as manly of a man, but, you know, it was just really, really heartwarming and awesome. Not a lot on Rob and Amber's kids. I know, I thought that was kind of weird, right? Because it's like this big story how they met on Survivor and they had 4 kids together now, and you would just think like there would have been more focus on that, but for some reason I didn't really see that. You need some lovin' tonight? Oh, yeah, no social distancing on this episode. Hey, Norvor. We did learn also, now some of you might have already known, some of you super fans, but I had mentioned in one of my previous recaps on this season that I wasn't sure if Adam's mom had passed away from his season when he played. She was very sick and was expected to die soon, it seemed like, and she has passed. So his dad came out, and it was nice for him to kind of connect with his dad, and they shared some moments about his mom, and it was just, I mean, there were some definitely sad moments like that as well. Hey Hayden, hey Victoria, hey guys. So there was all that. Hey Sarah, hi. Ben, did you change your picture back? You did. Hey Ben, I didn't even recognize you for a second. Okay, so there was all that. There was a whole thing, all this emotion, and then back to the show, right? Back to the game. So the first immunity challenge, well, not the first, sorry, the immunity challenge. Now, it was interesting, they didn't show the departures of the families from the people still in the game, and my guess is that the kids, it was probably difficult for the kids to handle having to go away. They might have thrown fits and tantrums, and they didn't really want to show all that. Ed and I had said, like, I don't know if they're going to show that, because it's probably going to be pretty dramatic, and they didn't. I thought that was interesting. But they did show the people from Edge of Extinction leaving. Most of them didn't really have kids in that age range of, like, young, like, they either had babies or kids that were old enough to kind of understand and not, like, completely lose their stuff over it. So you just keep changing up the pictures. I like it. Hey there, Simon. How are you? I saw you were broadcasting at the hotel the other day. So anyway, we go to the immunity challenge, and it's one of the challenges where they have this long rope, and it was long. I mean, this was like, I don't know how long it was, but it was long. It was, I don't know, like 50 yards long. I have no clue how long. I don't know if they said, but it's this long rope that's attached to this, like, board, basically, that's balancing, and they have to balance letter blocks on top of each other to spell out the word immunity. So they have to spell it backwards, right? They have to put the Y on the bottom, then the T, then the I, then the N, and there's different strategies. Some of them kind of stack them up ahead of time before they go out. Some of them just kind of grab them randomly. You know, they're trying to they have to go up to the wobbling board, put one letter at a time, then they have to ease their way back, holding onto the rope, keeping it balanced, grab the next letter, ease their way back up, put the next letter back and forth, and it was long. I mean, Tony even said at one point, this is long, and it certainly was. I mean, it was like, they kept doing these, like, pan shots zoomed out, and it was a journey to and from. So you'd think, oh, this person's gonna win, they drop it. You think this person's gonna win, they're gonna drop it. And it was interesting, like, I felt like there was a lot of slack on the rope. Did anyone else feel that too? Like, I felt like they should have been keeping it more tight, and there was, like, a lot of slack. So I didn't fully understand the physics behind that, but that was interesting to me too. Cher, hello. Your monthly support came through today. Thank you so much. Have I ever laughed when I look at their username? Whose username? Mystery Eagle, your username? Hotel's so slow. My gosh, I bet. I definitely bet. I'm surprised that hotels are still open, actually. I wasn't really sure what the deal was with that. So then someone wins for their first time ever, the first individual immunity challenge that this person ever won, and it was Tony. Tony won, and he was making these cracking these jokes that was like, you know, who would have thought that my first individual immunity challenge I would ever win would be on this game where I have to be, like, slow and steady and patient. He's like, that's not me. I'm fast and sloppy. That's my style. That's how I play Survivor. And it's so true. You know, he's kind of like this spazzy, kind of all over the place guy, this really, like, panicky energy. So for him to be, like, so methodical and to do it, and he didn't drop a single time, was really cool to see that. Plus, he won 2 fire tokens. So today it was the immunity necklace and 2 fire tokens instead of 1. Denise is still in it. Still have a lot of essential business travelers. Okay, yeah. Those winners. I don't know if I know the winners' usernames, actually. I loved the whole episode except the end. Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for Ed, but you need to start watching that show again. It's a good time to watch it because it's all people that have previously won the game on this season, and it's season 40. It's the 20th year anniversary of the show, so the show's officially been on for 20 years, and it's all people who have won the game before, and so that they normally have competed for $1 million. They've all won $1 million from the show. Now they're competing for $2 million. So these are, like, top-notch players that have been, some of them have been around since, like, season 3. So, yeah, exactly, Matt, exactly. 20 years, yeah, 20 years it's been on. Okay. So Tony won, which was pretty cool to see that. I don't really care one way or the other about that. So then it comes the scrambling, right, where everyone's like, okay, saying who they want to go home. So Jeremy says to Tony that he wants Sarah or Sophie. He wants to split those two up, ideally, because they are a pretty close-knit duo there. Tony says, well, Ben will never go for that. We can't do that. Now, also remember, Tony and Sarah are supposed to be in an alliance. You never really know with the two of them, but supposedly they're in this alliance, right? So Sarah wants Kim. She tells Tony she wants Kim, but Tony wants Tyson. Then Jeremy is sitting down with Nick, Tyson, with Nick, Tony, and, Jeremy, Nick, Tony, and Ben. And Kim is walking by, and Jeremy goes, we need to talk, and they go talk. And they're like, did Kim just call him over? And they were like, no, he called her over. So it was like, so Tony just goes, do you guys want to blindside Jeremy? To Nick and Ben, and they're both like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. So Kim, Jeremy, they link up with Tyson, and they say, listen, Kim coordinates the whole thing. She's like, listen, I have no friends out here. Tyson, you have no friends out here. Jeremy, I hope you realize you have no friends out here. We need to stick together because they all want us gone. And remember, there's 10 people left in the game. So there's a group of 5, which is Sarah, Tony, Ben, Nick, Sarah, Tony, Ben, Nick, and Sophie. And then there's Kim, Jeremy, and Tyson. And then there's Michelle and Denise. So these 3, Kim decides, well, we should pull in Michelle and Denise. And then at least it's 5 and 5. So it seems like they pretty successfully do that. And those 5 decide that they want to go for Sophie. They're like, oh, she'll never see it coming. And then the other group of 5 wants to go for Jeremy, which they were going to blindside him, right? So nobody knows for sure who they're going for, but it's Jeremy is who they're talking about. So there's some advantages here. So Kim has an idol, and she tells Tyson and Jeremy that she has an idol as a way to kind of solidify that trust and that connection and that alliance. Jeremy has an advantage where he can leave tribal council, which means that he can't be voted out, but he also can't vote. But his alliance needs him because it's already 5 and 5. So they need every vote that they can get. And Jeremy isn't sure, right? So he's like, if I turn my back on my alliance, then they might turn their back on me and I might need them. But also if votes are coming at me, I don't really want to be there. I'd rather just sit it out and be here another day, wake up here in the morning and not be on edge of extinction. And he's like, I'm a firefighter though, like, and we help each other out, like we have each other's backs. If you're in a team, if you're in a squad, like you don't, turn your back on your squad and just leave them. So he seemed pretty torn on that. Sarah has a steal a vote advantage, and Sophie really wants her to use it, which makes sense because Sophie's on the chopping block, right? Sarah doesn't really seem sure if she wants to use it or not. It's kind of all up in the air. So we're not sure. Then we go to tribal council. Hey there, Marsha. Hola, Manle. Hey, Rob Roy. You want Denise gone? I'm so surprised that Denise is still there, actually. Survival, that shows. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. So, and there's just whispering. Everyone's whispering in each other's ears. And I said out loud, Jeremy looks like he wants to leave. Jeremy, you could just see it. Like, he was pissed off. And Jeremy does this a lot. He's kind of an observer. He kind of sits back and he watches what's going on. If he doesn't like what's going on, he doesn't like it, right? So he's like, he wants to get out if he can. So you could see, like, he wants to use his sit out of tribal council advantage. So everyone's whispering, all this stuff's going on. It's like this whole thing. Nick loves it. A few people love it. And Jeff is like, all right, well, if that's it, then I guess it's time to vote. And both Jeremy and Sarah at the same time go, Jeff? And then they look at each other. Oh, no, you go. Oh, no. Ladies first. No. You go. Okay, no. And they both just sit there. It's just like a standoff. So Jeff's like, okay, well, I said it was time to vote. You both said, hey, Jeff. And now it seems like neither of you have anything to say. So is it time to vote? And everyone's kind of like, yeah, I guess. And he's like, okay, let's vote. And then, Jeff? Both of them again at the same time. And they're both like, fuck. It's like, what's going to So they both want to see what the other one's gonna do before they do their thing, you know? So finally, Jeremy just goes, forget it. He goes up, he gives his thing to Jeff, the advantage where he can leave tribal council, and he leaves. So he misses what happens after this point. He can't be voted out. He also can't vote. So now you have 5 and 4. So now you have the group of 5 with Sarah, Sophie, Ben, Nick, and Tony. And then you have the 4 left, which is Denise, Michelle, Kim, and Tyson. So Sarah says Jeff, and she decides she's going to use her steal a vote advantage, which I don't actually think was necessary. She didn't need to use that, right? They already had the numbers. They already had 5 versus 4. So they could still... Oh, okay. They had to, yeah, because they still... See, here's the thing. So they probably know. My guess is they know that someone has an idol in there. I think they knew Kim has an idol. I know the editor's trying to make it look like, oh, they're so surprised that Kim has an idol, but Kim told a lot of people. Like, Denise knew she had an idol. Denise doesn't seem super loyal to anyone. She kind of talks freely, and Denise was pretty close with Jeremy at one point, and they were kind of in that little mini alliance back in, like, DeKalb or whatever, when it was separate tribes, and I think they might just... Jeremy might know that Kim has a... Oh, but Jeremy's in the other group. Someone probably knows that Kim has this idol somehow, right? It probably came out. Someone knows. So, if they know that, if they know an idol might be played, or they even suspect it could be played, then they would want to split their votes. So they don't want to put all 5 votes on one person, because then if Kim uses her idol to protect that one person, then whoever the 4 people vote for actually end up winning. They actually end up getting out who they want to get out. And then you have 4 and 4, plus Jeremy's back at camp, and then you completely switch it up. Now you have 5 and 4 in favor of the other side. So it was a game-changing kind of night. So she uses the steal vote advantage, which was actually smart, as I'm like sitting here processing this as I talk with you guys. So now it's 6 votes against 3, because now she steals the vote from Denise. So now Denise can't vote, and they get an extra vote. So now there's 6 votes. Sarah gets to vote twice. So there's Kim, Tyson, Michelle. They get to vote. Why does that not seem right? Kim, Michelle, Tyson. I'm actually curious about who voted. I'm just realizing now that I don't know who didn't vote with them. Only 2 of them voted together, though. One voted a different way, which is interesting. We'll have to see how that went. But anyway, so they have 6 votes against 3, and they're trying to figure out, because Kim's like, well, if in case they don't split the votes, or if they do like 4 and 2, then she can try to figure out who they're going to put those 4 votes on, and if the 3 of them vote for someone else, they could still win it, right? So she has to guess who to use her idol on, and I'm thinking Kim, because I know Sarah's using her steal a vote advantage. Sarah wanted Kim. I'm thinking, Kim, you better play this frickin' idol for yourself. And she goes up, and she's like, I'm going to play my idol for Denise. And I'm like, no, don't use it for Denise. Use it for yourself. Well, Kim didn't get any votes. Instead, Denise did get 2 votes. Sophie got 2 votes, which was out of the 3 of them, which was weird, because I feel like there should have been 3 votes for Sophie. So that means one of them went rogue and voted the other way, maybe. There's only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was only 8 votes played. Maybe 1 didn't get read. Maybe it was another one for Tyson, so it was actually 5. Oh, sorry. Spoiler. So 4 votes that were read out went to our man, Tyson, who has now been voted out 2 times. 2 times. He's gone to the edge of extinction once. He's fought his way through the challenge, got back into the game, and then got voted out a second time, which was kind of painful to watch. And Kim was beating herself up, because she was like, I almost did that. Like, she almost put it on Tyson. And I'm curious, actually, who flipped. Was it Michelle? Probably. Could have been Tyson, though, which would be fine. Then he ended up kind of going home. That happened before with Tyson, where he didn't vote with his alliance how he was supposed to, and that ended up sending him home back when he played in, like, Marquesas or whatever with Rob. So that's how it went. Now let's recap the fire tokens. So Denise still has 3 fire tokens, as she did last week. Hey there, Chris. Tony now has 3 fire tokens, because he had 1 and he won the 2 from the immunity challenge tonight. So him and Denise are the richest in the game. They didn't touch on this again. So last week we didn't know what happened exactly with this, and this week they didn't mention it at all, which was those 4 fire tokens that they got from Michelle by selling her the 50-50 immunity idol, flip coin. Did those all go to Parvati? I assume they did, and she said that she wanted to buy everyone food. Did she buy people food? Did she keep any tokens for herself? Did Danny get any tokens because she was with her when she found it? What happened with that? Did they spend all of them on food? Are they saving some of them? Who has them? What's going on? Who knows? So Parvati could have 4 tokens right now and be the richest person in the game, but she said she was going to spend it on food, so she might have. They didn't really show any of that, so I have no idea what's up with those tokens. If you guys know, let me know. Kim, Jeremy, and Nick all have 2 tokens. Thank you, Chris, for the super hearts. Kim, Jeremy, and Nick all have 2 tokens. Everyone else in the game has 1, except Michelle, who has 0 because she spent all 4 of hers. She was the richest. Last week she spent all 4 on that flip 50-50 immunity idol coin. And then everyone on Edge of Extinction has 0, with the exception of Parvati, Danny, maybe. We don't know if they bought food or what happened with that. So there's 15 days left in the season. Remember, it is a 39-day show. So I guess really it's kind of like 14 days left. I think it's 39 days, and then the 40th day is like the day that they vote. I could be wrong. 39 nights? Maybe it's 39 days total. I don't know. But it's something like that. It's about 2 weeks left of the game, in the game on the island. And there is, what was it, episode 10? So I think we have 4 episodes left before the reunion special. So we have 3 episodes to speculate, and then the final, that 4th, not the final, but the 14th episode is where we typically find out who wins this season. Okay, you can, Chris. Yeah, I am on Instagram. Yeah, same username. Ben, thank you for the super hearts. Thank you so much. Tyson votes for himself. You can't vote for yourself. That's not allowed. Hey there, Jamie. So, yeah, I mean, it must have been either Tyson. No, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Tyson wouldn't have voted for himself. That's exactly, yeah. So it must have been Michelle, right? Or, yeah, because Denise couldn't vote. So it was Michelle because Kim wouldn't have done that. So it must have just been Kim and Tyson that voted for Sophie. Michelle flipped and voted for Tyson because she was, didn't know what to do. Tyson didn't have any fire tokens. He already had 0. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Hi. Hey, everyone. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Ben, is that good insight into what I thought of the episode? Did I miss anything? Thanks for those super hearts. And thank you to the contributors today. So PJ for contributing another $25 today, Share it with $5, and Anonymous with $10, both monthly. So thank you for that. Shaniqua, hello, how are you doing? Hopefully that satisfied all of your Survivor thirst, at least for a week. I do this every week. I do recaps of the week's episode. Hi, Mom! My mom's watching on YouTube, you guys. Hi, Mommy! So, next week, we do not have the kids. So, hopefully, when we don't have the kids, I usually try to watch it live with you guys. So, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, next Wednesday, the 22nd, I will hopefully be watching it live here on Periscope only. So I know right now I'm on Periscope and YouTube. When I'm watching it live, I only do that on Periscope, but then I do my recap on both Periscope and YouTube just like this. So if you don't know, I go live on Periscope every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, and I go live on YouTube at the same time at that as Periscope sometimes throughout the week, at least once a week for Survivor with these recaps for every episode. So without further ado, if there's no questions or anything, I am going to get ready to do some ASMR, which I do every so often, which is like whispers and tapping and gentle soft sounds to help you fall asleep and relax. Some people experience autonomous sensory meridian response, which is like tingles and chills you get from certain relaxing sounds. Thank you, Marsha. Hey, Midnight. So if you want to come check that out, that'll be up next. And I put all my stuff on YouTube into playlists. So if you're like, I don't really want to watch ASMR, but I like the Survivor stuff, I have a Survivor playlist. If you're not really into Survivor, but you like ASMR, I have an ASMR playlist. I have an investing-related broadcast playlist. I have book review playlist on YouTube. I have yoga, meditation, different stuff like that. So if you like to kind of categorize your interests, YouTube's a good place to find that. Hey, Jared. And I'm just about to sign off, so I'm going to go use the loo, and then I'm going to get ready for ASMR, which I'm pretty much ready for. I just have to tweak my mic a little bit and get my materials, and then help you guys go to sleep. When's game night? Probably Friday and Saturday nights is when I do games. But I might just do Friday this week because last game night was 3 hours long and we only got like 2 super hearts. So, you know, maybe it's like too much. I have to kind of like go with ebbs and flows and follow the trends. You know, if people like this and want to talk about this, then we'll do that. And if they like this and want to talk about that, then we'll do that. So I just kind of like follow what people seem to value the most. So yes, sleep. Okay, I'll help you guys fall asleep. I'm gonna just use the little girl's room, and then I'll be back. Love you. Thanks for being here. This is fun. Yeah, so we have Tony now, who's potentially one of the richest people in the game. Actually, he is. Him and Denise are the richest 2 in the game with 3 fire tokens each. Tyson went home tonight, and what's the third takeaway? They had the amazing loved ones visit. So that's my 5-second recap of tonight's Survivor episode. Yes, you did, Sarah. That's true. That was fun. That wasn't even really technically game night. That was last night, wasn't it? That was just fun with me and Ed. Yeah, we did do games last night, didn't we? We played Pictionary for a while and Kings. Yeah, that was fun. Hope to see you guys on the next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. Always good to see you. I'll be back in just a little bit. Hope to see you there.